Hey guys, and welcome to your weekly card pull. My name is Alexa. Today I'm doing a cozy Sunday reading for the upcoming week of October 27th through November 2nd of 2024. This reading is predominantly channeled for my Capricorns. However, if you have major Capricorn placements, not necessarily your sun sign, or if you just feel called to a reading, this may have some perspective and guidance for you, so please feel free to stay tuned. So the main question that I want to ask for you guys is, leading into this upcoming week, what perspective or guidance might be helpful? Maybe what kinds of themes can we expect to be dealing with or looking at as we navigate these days ahead? Cool. Okay, my dears, so for this week, I pulled for you guys the Three of Swords, and I also pulled for you guys the Five of Swords in reverse. Big picture, it seems like there is a lot in the cards for you this upcoming week that have to do with themes of forgiveness, letting go, healing, maybe some grieving. This doesn't necessarily mean that something terrible or tragic is going to happen this upcoming week. I feel like for a lot of you, maybe you're processing old pain, processing old griefs, old guilts. This could be in relationship to other people. This could also be in relationship to yourself. Maybe your relationship with yourself has needed some repairing or some TLC, and maybe you're in a position now where you feel like you want to give that to yourself, or you are taking the step towards giving that to yourself, and that's going to open up a lot of space for you. So the Three of Swords card, whenever this is pulled, you can see there's three daggers stabbed into a heart, so can be a little bit of a tougher card to pull sometimes if your impression of it is just that your heart is going to experience pain, because that is kind of what the visual is implying. With that being said, though, anytime that this card comes up, there is a huge encouragement to not step away from that pain, to not step away from that grief, to not dissociate, to not run away. There's a lot here that is encouraging you to sort of face the discomfort and lean into it rather than trying to run away from it. If you run away from it, to me, it feels, honestly, I don't think this is the actual symbolism, but to me, it feels like two of the daggers are maybe an event that happened or something that hurt you, and the dagger, the single dagger on the bottom, is the dagger of like choosing to run away and not deal with it, and how over time that pain can tenfold if you don't deal with your grief, or you don't deal with your anxiety about something, or you don't deal with how you feel about something. Sometimes that is necessary. Sometimes in order to deal with a situation, we have to dissociate a little bit. We have to compartmentalize. So I'm not saying this to shame that. That being said, it is important to take the time out when you can to decompress and to work through those feelings, work through those more challenging things, especially if it's something that you don't have the ability to do in the moment. Sometimes, especially if there is like a quick process, as someone that we know gets really, really sick, we don't always have time to fully comprehend what is going on and feel the extent of what we're going to feel about that event. And so we may experience aftermath. We may experience grief after the fact, or things after the fact, or even if it's just like a relationship ends and, you know, a few months to years later, it's something that still comes up for you. That's not necessarily a bad thing, and it doesn't mean, oh, well, you should go back into that relationship or whatever. It simply is your body and your emotional body trying to express to you that there are emotions surrounding a topic, and those things are complex and they're layered and they take time. It's really important to take the time to address those things rather than constantly pushing them off, because the more you push them off, dissociate from them, try to distance yourself from them, the more that you're inhibiting yourself from learning what it is that they might actually be there to tell you. Something else that I want to read from the book, specifically with, that was such a weird way to hold this, specifically with this card. There is much to learn when we allow ourselves to really feel our pain. This feeling may be a jolt to your reality when themes seem to be going well, so honor your grief, reach out to a trusted friend or family member, and let yourself feel the things that you're feeling. In the upright position, there may be some themes of rejection, some themes of negativity. Again, this doesn't necessarily have to be something that has been imposed onto you from the outside world. This could be you sitting and reflecting on a relationship that you've had with yourself in the last few months to years. I'm getting like 5-year cycle for some of you, maybe 7 tops. So I do feel like there is some energetic shifts that are happening right now, or that your awareness is being turned into some kind of a pain. And for some people that can be daunting and that can be scary. And the encouragement with this is that you have what it takes to look at that, and you're being encouraged to look at it and to be loving with that. And it's honestly highly possible and even highly likely that it's not going to consume you in the way that you might anticipate. A lot of people are afraid to deal with their emotions because it feels like it can be overwhelming and we don't have the proper container or the proper space to deal with them. That's why things like therapy or working with a coach sometimes, or working with someone who is able to help you navigate those things, when you have a sort of a container for dealing with those emotions, it can make it feel a little bit safer because you don't always feel like this one little thing is going to consume me. I have, dedicated time and set aside time to really work through these emotional issues. And once that chunk of time is done, it doesn't necessarily mean that the issue is over, but it also is almost like a little permission slip for you to say, okay, I can now move forward and I'll get back into that when I feel ready. So don't expect to be like fully healed, work through everything, have all the pain hit you at once, but do expect to maybe work through a small layer of this. And this, again, doesn't necessarily have to mean that any kind of new pain is going to come up. It's just likely that it's going to open your eyes to something that maybe has been challenging for you for a while. Now, the second card that I pulled for you, the Five of Swords in reverse, we pulled two swords cards. One of the things, the cautions per se, that I like to use anytime there are a lot of swords cards is to just pay attention to your words, pay attention to the words of others, specifically how your words affect your experience. So the ways that you're talking to other people, the ways that you're talking about other people, especially the ways that you're talking to and about yourself, these may be the quote unquote daggers, is just the way that you express yourself about yourself, the way that you talk about yourself. If you have a particularly tough relationship to yourself, this might be a really good time to clear some of that energy. If you don't, you feel like you treat yourself well, but maybe there's other people around you that you feel like aren't being as kind to you as you'd like them to be, this is a really good time to work through that. So with this Five of Swords card, again, I did pull this one in reverse, which is why it looks like it's upside down. Main themes with this, if we notice the way that this guy looks, it looks like he's tired, he's reflecting on something. So this is kind of coming from the position of, again, a little bit of aftermath. I don't feel like this necessarily means like a new thing is going to come up. This is probably a time for you to sit back and reflect on a painful experience that you may have had. And this could have been years ago, this could have been decades ago, this could be a huge thing, this could be a really small thing, but the way that you internalized it and speak to yourself as a result of this are likely coming up for you to look at them and maybe do a little bit of work around them. So with this card in the reverse, a couple things that the book is saying: a battle was fought, what was its purpose? Despite what we might think, there is no clear winner when this card shows up. This card could also be a call for you to stand up in what you believe in, or to stand up for yourself. So in the upright position, it does have some themes of betrayal or tension, maybe a little bit of like this almost surrender, like exhaustive at the end of a battle, for lack of better words. In the reverse position, however, the way that I pulled it, this has themes of forgiveness and reunion, resolution, understanding, coming to a really positive quote unquote ending on something. So I feel like these two cards individually can be a little bit daunting because they do imply some level of pain that may have been experienced or is being experienced or has been experienced. But I do feel like the combination of them, especially with the Five of Swords in reverse, is also presenting a lot of opportunities for healing, a lot of opportunities for understanding, maybe understanding why someone else may have treated you the way that they treated you, understanding why you treated yourself the ways that you did, having a little bit more grace for that and a little bit of forgiveness. Again, forgiving isn't necessarily forgetting. It's not a permission slip for people to walk all over you. It's not a permission slip for you to walk all over yourself, but it is a gentle opportunity to say, okay, I'd like to move forward from this. How can I find peace with this? Understanding for what happened, understanding that I'm also going to have boundaries as a result of this. And I know that I'm going to show up better for myself and for the world around me, and have better expectations from how people are going to treat me, because you don't want to remain stagnant. You don't want to keep re-entering into the same cycle. But Capricorns, I kind of feel like you've already exited that cycle. You're out of the cycle. You're now in a position of reflection where you can really look back on that or look at that and say, okay, this is not something I want to accept in any form, and it may show up in other areas in my life. And when that happens, I know how I want to handle it and I know how I want to deal with it so that I can move forward peacefully. Okay, that was a little bit of a tangent. I'm kind of feeling like I do want to pull out my Oracle deck now. I feel like there's a card that wants to come out, so I'm gonna go grab that and then we'll see what comes out there. Okay, so we are using my Crystal Spirits Oracle deck. This is my classic favorite, my OG favorite deck. I love this one so much. Always encouraging, always inspiring. I feel like I love the cards that I pulled in the sense that I feel that they are providing a nice little canvas of healing to be painted on, but I kind of feel like I want some directionality that's a little bit lighter for you guys. So we'll see what Crystal Spirits wants to pull up for us. Okay, so the two cards that I pulled from this deck, I have Blue Lace Agate in the reverse. I also have Spessartine Garnet in the upright position. I'm gonna start with the Blue Lace Agate and then move into this one. So Blue Lace Agate, this card in the upright position, she looks like this. This card is all about having a level of detachment from unnecessary dramas, peaceful acceptance, kind of this ability to, if you're in a situation and you feel like it's been toxic and you've been drawn in and it's just like constantly pulling you, this card is the epitome of the ability to look at that and just say, I don't really care. I don't really care to be involved in this. I don't really care to invest my energy into this and to just be drowned down by this. Like, this card is the, again, epitome of stress-free non-attachment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If there is a situation where other people's opinions of you have been really determinant of how you're experiencing life, they don't matter. At the end of the day, what really matters is your relationship to yourself. So allowing yourself to kind of create some space. I'm getting that for a lot of you. This is more in the way of permission slip. Like, you need to give yourself the permission slip to say, I would like to exit this. To say, I don't want to be a part of this unnecessary drama. There is a difference between conflict resolution, and the polarity of life, and just unnecessarily having drama. You could have a discussion or you could have an argument. If you could just have a discussion, maybe just do that. Some people are attracted to the drama, some people like that. So if that feels like it's resonant for you, this is an opportunity to say, does that really serve me in this situation or moving forward? And to evaluate whether or not that's something that you want. In the reverse position, for some of you, this may be a little bit more in relationship to yourself. Are you having a really dramatic experience because you're not allowing yourself to feel the things that you're feeling? Going back to this card, this Three of Swords card, sometimes I personally have found that I experience a lot more inner turbulence when I have judgments about how I'm feeling about something. Like, I could be feeling sad about something, and that's really not a huge problem. It's okay to be sad once in a while. The struggle and the tension and the issue comes when I have a judgment about feeling that sadness, and when I say, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. And then that creates an unnecessary drama because there's a piece of me inside that's doing the whole should and shouldn't arguments. And there's another piece of me that's acknowledging what reality is. So peaceful acceptance of reality, peaceful acceptance of your place on earth, your place in what's going on in a situation, whatever. Take everything with a grain of salt, and to just say, like, I don't need to be unnecessarily involved in turbulent emotions and turbulent exchanges. The Spessartine Garnet is all about charm and charisma. I feel like for a lot of you, releasing some of these unnecessary dramas and releasing some of this pain that you've maybe been holding on to will enable you to show up with more charm, more charisma, more of that vivacious personality, especially if that's something that you feel like you haven't been in touch with, maybe as a result of some of these battle wounds or some of these things that have been challenging. If you don't feel like you've been, I love how these cards kind of complement each other with their colors too. If you feel like you've been missing a piece of yourself, this card is a really beautiful gift that kind of shares that there's opportunities for that to begin shifting. And a lot of that shift is going to happen through this healing process as you're working to, quote unquote, pull the swords out of the heart here and create some healing and some forgiveness. Again, whether this is within yourself, within your dynamics and relationships with other people, or a combination of the two. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you so much. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so. I am posting readings every single week again. If you liked this video, please feel free to leave me a little thumbs up so that I know it resonated. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.